Hi MSC friends, today we're going to finish this book, Ludwig, Beethoven and the Chiming Tower Bells. We're going to read chapter 4. The warm summer sun smiled gently on the beautiful little village of Hildenstadt, lying just outside the busy city of Vienna. There, half asleep in the long grasses, a tumble-down miller's cottage stood beside a trickling stream, the old windmill overhead swinging its ragged arms in the lazy breeze. But the lonely Beethoven, sitting in the open doorway in his worn, faded green coat, could not hear the whirring sound above him as he dreamed away, looking out over the wide rolling meadows to the mountains beyond, still wearing their glistening caps of snow. Suddenly, the wind rushed down from the mountains and across the broad fields, tossing the long grasses and piling the thunderclouds in dark masses overhead. A thunderstorm! Beethoven smiled as the heavy drops of rain spattered to the ground, and turning quickly to the little kitchen where a peasant boy was busy with household chores, he called lustily, "Hans, Hans, my hat!" "Yes, master." Rushing about the cottage, the brown-skinned boy searched everywhere, but the hat could not be found. Suddenly he burst into a merry laughter, his brown eyes twinkling with mischief. Come, come, Hans, this is no time for playing. Why do you not bring the hat?" demanded Beethoven sternly. Quickly the boy wrote a note on the little pad hanging from the master's neck. "The hat is on the head, sir." Beethoven smiled. So, he chuckled, and patting Hans on the shoulder, he put his notebook under his coat and strode over the fields, lifting his face to the heavens and laughing joyously as the rain pounded down on him. As the thunder crashed and roared through the valley, the ground trembled beneath his feet, and strong music began to ring in his mind. Quickly, he must write it down at once, or it might be lost forever. Rushing to a pine tree, he crouched beneath its wide, spreading branches, and with his big carpenter's pencil, he wrote the notes as fast as his hand could travel. Dusk had fallen, and with his hat gone and his bushy head bowed, he found his way back to the cottage, hearing nothing but the melodies that were still working in his mind. Music that told of his struggle to conquer the deafness that was slowly shutting him away from the world. And here's the melody, you may know it, from the Fifth Symphony. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Here he is. There's another picture of him in the windmill. From the kitchen, Hans and Mother Anna brought steaming bowls of food and put them on the table nearby. "The supper is laid, sir." But the master did not hear as he stamped around the room, pounding out the time of his great symphony on the table and upsetting the ink into the piano as he sat to play this lovely andante melody of the second part, so filled with comfort and hope. This is part of the Fifth Symphony. Check the comments for a link to hear it. On through the night hours labored the master, bending low over the keys to the ear trumpet to catch what he could of the sounds of beauty. So we talked about this a little bit last time, and I don't think you could see these very well, but these are some ear trumpets and instruments that he used to hold up to his ear to hear sounds a little bit better. Remember, he lived a long time ago, and they didn't have the technology we have today to help people who have hearing loss, and so he was limited in what he could hear. On through the night, the master labored, bending low over the keys to the ear trumpet, to catch what he could of the sounds of beauty. At last, the pattern of the glorious Fifth Symphony was laid out, ending with the stirring song of victory. If he could no longer play for the people, he would give them something even better, his noble music to enjoy. Through the long summer months, in every kind of weather, Beethoven roamed through the woods and fields, and even at night, long after the sun had set behind the purple mountains, he could not go to bed, for he must walk in the restful moonlight and lie in the meadows to gaze up at the stars and the clouds, for in them he found peace. The night wind stirred in the pines over his head, and the birds called softly from their nests, but Beethoven could not hear them. As he sadly watched his beloved nature world around him, he remembered the sounds and wrote in his notebook the lovely melodies that came to him. Here's a minuet in G. Check the comments for the link. Actually was linked in one of the other chapters, but I'll link it again. One morning, as Beethoven roamed joyously over the flowering hillsides, he came suddenly upon a village carnival with peasants dancing merrily in their brightly colored costumes. Again, their outfits, what they're wearing, their costumes. He must dance too. In a moment, Beethoven joined in the merrymaking, laughing heartily as he whirled about. Hola, 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 la, he cried, stamping his feet in time to the measure. Suddenly, he left the jolly company, and the peasants watched in amazement as the stranger danced away across the fields, wheeling and turning and waving his arms as he sang in a loud voice the rollicking music that filled his mind. Running into the cottage, he played his new country dances so merrily that soon Hans and Anna were moving gaily around the kitchen to his music, ending their dance with loud clapping of hands and stamping of feet. Here's some of the country dances. There's some more. Beethoven could not forget the merry peasants at the carnival, whirling about in the bright sunlight. Perhaps they were still there. Off he started over the meadows, his loose green coat flying behind him in the breeze. This was a joyous day indeed, for his ears were a little better, and now he could hear the wistful tune of a shepherd as he piped away on the hill, and quickly he wrote it in his notebook. Yes. On through the fields went the master. Yes, there were the peasants dancing happily to the music in the country of the country fiddler, sawing away on his old violin, playing his 3 notes over and over for the rollicking company. Suddenly a flash of lightning and a muttering of thunder sent the merrymakers scurrying to the trees for shelter. Down came the shower, but soon it was gone, and the sun shone on the glowing rainbow arching from heaven to earth. All nature seemed to sing a song of thanks now that the storm was over. Why, this would make a good symphony. It could be a pastoral symphony. Music of the nature world, with the shepherd's song and the peasants gathering for the festival, a thunder shower, and ending with this beautiful hymn of thanksgiving. He must start at once. You might have heard that word connected to other art forms. Pastoral, it means of nature, specifically of the country, portraying a very beautiful, a calm, peaceful scene. People, animals, nature. How the master loved the green countryside of Hildenstadt. He must write to his friend, Wegler, and tell him of his joy. Reaching for his pencil, he began. Dear friend, how glad I am to be here, able to roam in the wood and the thicket, among the trees and the flowers and rocks. No one can love this country as I do. Woods, trees, and rocks give me back the joy that my heart longs for. In the country, every tree has a voice and seems to speak to me, saying, Holy, holy. My bad hearing does not trouble me so much here. For in the woods there is enchantment and peace, sweet peace of the woods. Your Beethoven.